She won most talkative in high school, and she has been running her mouth ever since. Welcome to the Lisa Fischer Said podcast with your host, Lisa Fischer.
All right, people, when you get a guest and you have him on again, it's because you really like his content. And Ben Azadi, that is definitely how I would define what you do. I love your social media. I love that you hang the banner high of a keto lifestyle, intermittent fasting, and all the things. And now you've got this book coming out, and I've got a copy, and I've been delving through it. So tell me some of the things about Metabolic Freedom, 30-day guide to restore your metabolism, heal hormones, and burn fat. That's everything you need, people.
Yeah, we want all of that for sure. Well, Lisa,
That's
it's great
right.
to be back with you. I love your work as well. Thank you for the invitation to come back on the podcast to talk about this book. I just got my author copies. I'll hold it up for you right there.
How exciting.
I'll get you a physical copy too. Yeah, I'm really excited about this book. We know in the United States, it's crazy. I looked at some of the stats as I was writing this book. We spend $4.6 trillion on healthcare every single year in the U.S., which would be the fourth largest GDP in the world if it was a GDP.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane. Yet we are sicker than ever before, and pharmaceutical companies are richer than ever before. Even though we spend that much money on healthcare, which is the most, we rank 37th in the world. We are behind even other countries that are not as financially well off as us. So we know something is broken. We know something is wrong here. And one out of every $4 spent on healthcare is on diabetes, primarily type 2, which is a metabolic disease. So the book discusses why have we seen disease on the rise? Why is obesity, cancer, heart disease on the rise? It goes over the main causes that lead to metabolic dysfunction. It debunks a lot of myths surrounding fat loss, like it's all about calories or count your macros. It's way more than that. It's about inflammation and hormones, which we'll get into. The second half of the book talks about the solutions. Keto is a solution. Fasting is a solution. Your thoughts are a powerful solution.
Isn't that crazy?
Chapter 10. It's so cool. It's crazy and amazing. And then it's all wrapped together in a 30-day plan because I could give you the information, but if you don't take action, I mean, what is it worth? You want to take action. That's where the information becomes power. So it has a 30-day plan where I hold your hand and guide you for 30 days. And there's a whole bunch of recipes at the back of the book as well. And I'm excited for this book to get out there.
Well, congratulations on it. I saw where it was pre-order still. We're recording this the end of April, so it was still a pre-order. But
Yes.
Will it be in our hands if we get it from Amazon in the middle of May, you think?
So if you order it as a pre-order, which is between now and May 13th, then on May 13th, when it releases, that's when it will be delivered to you. And it's available, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. We actually have a special gift we're giving your audience that includes not just a pre-order of the book, but an entire course on the metabolism, 12 lessons that I built out, and interviews in this course that you cannot find anywhere else that we're only putting in the course with Dr. Jason Fung, Megan Ramos, Dr. Daniel Pompa, and Cynthia Thurlow. And you could find that over at metabolicfreedombook.com.
I haven't gotten Jason Fung on a podcast, and you would be my connection to Dr. Pompa. So definitely drop my name. But Cynthia, I've interviewed Cynthia.
She's awesome.
Wait, who else did you say in
Megan
that?
Ramos.
Oh, Megan. Yes.
Who
I
works
love her
with
too.
Dr. Fung.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
she's
course.
awesome.
Well, the one thing we have got to discuss as Big Pharma gets richer, as we're sitting here, no matter what the stock market's doing, your Big Pharma is getting richer. And they're writing more prescriptions to these GLP-1 agonists. Lilly's about to drop a new drug that they're saying, no, you won't even have to take an injection. It's going to be a teeny tiny magic pill. How are you coming across the naysayers? Because now even Ken Berry, who's a medical doctor, said, well, I mean, I've heard some doctors acquiesce and say, Ben, well, for the person that's really PCOS or is having metabolic issues, maybe a little microdosing of the GLP-1. Well, what's Fung saying? What's Pompa saying? The medical guys, and then you from the practical side of living it. What are you thinking?
Well, I could speak from my side. I could speak from Dr. Pompa's side. He's my mentor, and even Dr. Fung, because we talked about this on the interview I did with him. Us three believe that it's much better long-term to find a natural way to lose the weight. And the problem with these drugs and medication and even calorie counting is that the premise is wrong. They're trying to get you to lose weight in order for you to be healthy.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. We don't lose weight to get healthy. We get healthy to lose weight. It's not about the calories. It's about inflammation. It's about hormones. So I focus on that. That's what Dr. Pompa focuses on. That's what Dr. Fung focuses on. And one of the key things we want to do in order to lose weight, reverse metabolic diseases like you mentioned, PCOS, insulin resistance, and even diabetes, is to lower inflammation and lower insulin. And we could do that outside of taking a drug. We could do that outside of taking a medication. I don't prescribe, I don't recommend or tell people to get off medication. I am all about the holistic way. So this book is not about prescribing or recommending a GLP-1. It's not about Ozempic or anything like that. It's about letting your body, removing the interference and letting your body heal itself. And I think that's a much more sustainable approach.
I think one thing you told me a couple of years ago when we talked, and Dr. Kate what's her name?
Shanahan.
Shanahan. Yep. You said you also have a lot of respect for her too, I know. And she was kind of the first, or I heard maybe in 2022, 2023, about the whole seed oil crisis, and that it is more dangerous than smoking, than sitting, all the things that they talk about, whatever the, problem is or hurdle is du jour to get us from being healthy. But now it's turned into somehow a political platform. People are going, well, I want more seed oil since RFK is against them, and which is so silly to trivialize something that is so important to our health. But let's get into the whole, what seed oils do and why you carry a card with you. You actually are a card carrying, there it is, folks, card carrying seed oil allergy. And once you mention that to the staff, because we live in a society of litigious, with people that want to sue, the manager comes out and they say, ma'am, we will definitely prepare your rice with butter or whatever. They change things. But let's talk about the dangers of seed oils. Yeah,
you're spot on, Lisa. It's become crazy how
it's crazy. It's political. We're talking about him. I saw someone the other day say she was getting a prescription for fluoride since RFK was against it. Because, you can get a prescription if you really want to kill your thyroid and have a neurotoxin. They can deliver it to you. She said she had ordered the prescription fluoride because RFK was against it. That's the way to show them.
Yeah, that's so wild. I didn't even realize you could do that. That's sad. Yeah, I mean, it's not about, our cells do not see color. It doesn't see red or blue. It sees health. We just want to be healthy.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I'm all in with the Make America Healthy Again, because we are sick. I just gave you some stats, and there's more wicked stats out there. We're sick. We need to change. And if that changes RFK, bring it on.
Oh,
I can tell you.
I don't care who it is.
Yeah, I don't care. If it was Biden, or if it was what's her name, the running Kamala Harris.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Or AOC or anybody. Anybody that leads a group of people that is divisive, and politics now is divisive. I don't care who it is. I just want my kids and grandkids to live in a healthier country. I
agree. So seed oils is a big issue. It's good that seed oils have become mainstream, but that's also a bad thing because there's a lot of misinformation out there. You're right. Dr. Kay Shanahan is a great resource. She endorsed the book Metabolic Freedom as well.
And
she's been preaching this message for a very long time.
Yeah.
Seed oils are found in 80% of our food supply in the United States. 80% of the food supply contain these highly inflammatory fats.
We're talking about anything in a box, or Dr. Bickman says with a barcode in a bag.
Exactly. These ultra processed foods.
Okay.
And the reason why these oils are so bad is because the way that they're processed. They're using heat and pressure and oxygen to process these seed oils, and it goes rancid during the processing of it. So they add chemical agents to cover up the smell. Then it's put in a bottle, and then we cook with it, we fry with it, and it makes it even more rancid. And these seed oils stay in the body for a very long time. The half-life of these oils are 680 days, meaning if you stopped eating them today, about 2 years later, half of them will still be in your body creating inflammation.
Okay. Then we're all in trouble. I bet you haven't had a thimble of a seed oil, though, in many years.
Not knowingly, no. Yeah. I do my best to try to avoid it. I use a seed oil card, but I'm sure somewhere, somehow, it's getting in there somehow. But yeah, not intentional for years, many, many years. It's one of the things I don't make an exception on, seed oils and gluten. Those are the two things that I don't have. But to the point with the smoking, there's a study I put in this book, and to give credit to Dr. Kay Shanahan, I actually got the study from her. It's from Dr. Martin Grutfeld. And Lisa, the study looked at French fries cooked in seed oils, and they were measuring the aldehyde contents produced after you fry French fries in vegetable oil.
Okay.
Aldehydes are cancer causing. When you smoke a cigarette, it creates aldehydes. That's how cigarette smoking is linked to cancer. And it showed this. Essentially, the study said this: one French fry cooked in vegetable oil, which is a seed oil, is equivalent to a tobacco cigarette smoked. So that means if you've never smoked a tobacco cigarette, but you've eaten 10,000 French fries,
I may have.
You've essentially smoked about 10,000 tobacco cigarettes.
Okay, I'm stunned. So is that because what it does to our cells or our lungs? Because the cigarette, you think of the aldehyde, it's the lungs and the smoke, but it must do something to the cells that I don't understand. It's
the cells because as soon as you eat those oils, within hours, I talk about this in chapter 4 of Metabolic Freedom. It's called lipid membrane reorganization. Within hours after consuming them, they make their way to your cell membranes and mitochondrial membranes, and they're there creating inflammation, blocking your hormones, blocking nutrients from getting in, blocking oxygen from getting in, and it stays there, like I said earlier, for years. So it's not just the lung cells, it's all of the cells in your body from vegetable oils.
So when I first started my health journey a couple of years ago, and I would think, well, nuts are healthy, nuts are safe, until you read the back of even at Fresh Market or wherever you go, they often use sunflower oil or something to roast them in. So people just get the raw nuts and do it at home. But that's what I'm saying. That's how ubiquitous it is. Even in something that you would grab thinking, oh, cashews are great. If you're not nut sensitive or anything, or, I know there are some people that can't because of certain diets, but they use seed oils even for the nuts.
It's true. They're all over.
It's like in baby food. It's in,
I know
it. Oh my gosh, it is everywhere. So now we're again recording this in April. There were some things done with RFK. I'm sorry to say his name because it's like saying Elon Musk's name now. I'm like, I thought he was just a businessman who was really smart. No, when you hate somebody, you hate everything about them. You hate everything they stand for. But this week, I think they were trying to get maybe that food dyes out of the foods, which has been done in Europe for years.
Yeah.
Do you think that's baby steps, Ben, toward our goal? Or is he going to have to say, we got to get seed oils out?
I think he's going to try to do that as well, or limit them or make them harder to be mass produced. These are all good steps in the right direction. However, we can't rely on anybody, RFK, Trump, or anybody to take care of our health, and it's our responsibility. And I remember Bob Proctor saying, if everybody swept their own front porch, the entire town would be clean. Right? Meaning if you just took care of yourself and you said no to the seed oils and you vote with your fork, you vote with your dollars, then you create that demand. So yeah, those are great steps. Banning red dye, food dyes by 2026, though. We still have some time.
That's not immediate. Okay.
Yeah, it's not immediate. They said it by 2026. So it's still in there. So don't be fooled by that. But to your point, Lisa, Italy, for example, when I talk about this in the book, Italy, they have a fraction of the diseases we have here, like obesity and diabetes. They also have a longer lifespan, and they also have banned food dyes and have strict restrictions on glyphosate. And they started doing this in 2016, and they're much healthier as a result. But we allow all that in our food supply and so much more. All these chemicals, they're making us sick and inflamed. So it's cool to see this go in the right direction. But I'll share something with you that's going to be alarming. Because of this popularity for beef tallow and seed oil free that we're seeing out there, which is great to see, we're going to see these big food companies take advantage of this messaging and fool you into thinking you're not getting seed oils, but you actually are. I'll give you an example. Steak and Shake is a very popular restaurant that is now having TV commercials and billboards saying, we now cook our fries in beef tallow, which is a good fat. Absolutely. And they do cook their fries in beef tallow. But do you know something else? Before they cook their fries in beef tallow, it's already pre-cooked in vegetable oils. So you're still not avoiding the vegetable oils. That's why
then why are they doing that? Do they do a double fry and they're cheap and they don't want to Because tallow is more expensive, I would assume.
That's why.
The way everybody's running.
It's all about costs. And they want to take advantage of the popularity of beef tallow and seed oil free, but not actually doing it. So they're saving money still by doing this manipulating marketing. Yeah. So that's why when you say you're allergic, they have to find out, and they'll let you know if it's pre-cooked, or even restaurants that have grilled meat. You would think, oh, it's a grilled steak. There's no seed oils. You'd be surprised. Sometimes they'll marinate their steaks in seed oils, and you won't know unless you tell them you're allergic.
I've never even thought of that, because I always thought my diet is mainly meat based. So I have steak on a grill. I'm trying to think now. There's some grills or the griddles at a place, they use margarine a lot.
Yep, exactly.
Which is plastic, people. I mean, it's not even real food.
It's a frankenfood.
Yeah, it is a frankenfood. Okay, what are the obesity rates then in Italy, in Europe? Because what's interesting, and this is where genetics does come into it. South Asians have a higher propensity toward type 2 diabetes. Hispanics do, African Americans. So South Asians, they're saying, are the slim type 2 diabetics, but with the big abdomen, so it's not always, and I really am at the age where the number on the scale doesn't mean anything. I'm looking at it I'm sorry I've ever focused on that, but that's what my doctor asked when I went to the doctor. He'd say, she said, what's the number on the scale? So we use that as a barometer. But if you're looking at health for different cultures of people and different parts of the world, are the Italians healthier and slimmer? And then why are the South Asians getting fatter?
Well, the South Asians now are adopting more of this Western way of this Western diet. So that's a part of it. But to your point, genetics will determine where you're storing that fat. You could look maybe thin on the outside, but have a lot of visceral organ fat. They're called TOFIs, thin on the outside, fat on the inside. And arguably that's even more dangerous than being fat on the outside, because that visceral fat is really, really dangerous. It creates fatty liver disease, a fatty heart, a fatty pancreas, and that dramatically decreases your lifespan. Italy doesn't have that. I mean, they do have obesity in Italy. Don't get me wrong. There's diabetes. Every country is going to have that.
Yeah.
But their percentages are way less than us. And by the way, they don't have more gyms in Italy. It's not like they're working out more. They have a fraction of the gyms.
We have more gyms. Oh, that's not the problem.
100 times more gyms here in America, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they walk more. They have more community, and that plays a role. But a big part of it is the toxins that they've outlawed.
Okay, so outlawing the toxins. See, this is where, for someone like me that wants less government intervention, you get really torn, because I think I'm responsible for my health. So I really battle this conversation in my head, because I don't want the government telling me what to do. I want, if you want to do it, if you want to take 19 COVID vaccines before noon, I say knock yourself out. Just don't make me do it. That's always been my philosophy. So I know the government has some responsibility in keeping us healthy. I do understand. Well, let's talk about your genetics, because is it Arabic? I forget.
Persian.
Persian. So, okay, let's talk about Persian communities. Are they seeing obesity in Iran, Iraq, the Middle East?
That's a good question. Let me actually look that up right now, because I haven't looked at that lately. So I'm sure there are percent, because a lot of these countries are adopting the Western diet.
Yeah, that's true.
Starting to see these fast food restaurants. So let's see. Obesity rates I'm going to choose Iran, which is the country that I'm from. Now let's see what we see here.
That's right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's creeping up because of the influence of this Western diet. Okay, so the obesity rates, according to the BMC Public Health in Iran, is around 17 to 21%.
Oh, ours is almost like 50%, isn't it?
Yeah, Harvard is saying it's going to be 50% by 2030. So yeah, they're about half of us.
Okay.
So they're better off, but still not healthy. It's still a problem,
Are they using seed oils
Yes.
Okay, they are. So everybody uses seed oils now.
Yeah, pretty much every country is.
And that's only like 100-year invention, right? Wasn't that the
early 1900s? A little
1900s?
Yeah, a little over 100 years ago.
And the other thing you have to watch out, and I'm sorry, I'm old. I don't do Chat GPT yet, but with the Google search of seed oils, it will have, the asterisk of some are saying that these are toxic oils, but truthfully they are not. And so you have to consider your source, and you have to find a search engine that can just find your perfect search engine. So we have to consider the source, even as we know in Google, because Google will say seed oils are not that bad. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, no, I have. Even several of my videos over the years on seed oils have been flagged for false information and taken down, or an article attached to it saying, actually, it's not unhealthy. It's perfectly fine for you. It's crazy.
Now, that's what I'm saying. Things are so binary. They're either this or that. Whereas we want them to come to our side, and I'd be willing to hear their side. But they haven't convinced me, meaning the people that push things that are good for you that I don't think are good for you. Because look at this generation, look at the last generation. I will say my other new thing is the whole blue light issue.
Yeah.
And I see you do you wear your yellow lenses throughout the day and then switch to orange at night?
Yeah, red at night. Yes.
Oh, red at night. Okay, that's what that is. Okay. Yeah. So you're even protecting yourself because he has his blue light blockers on. You're doing it because you're in front of a screen all day and there's blue light that emits from this, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I have I have my computer screen in front of me, but then I have these two lights here that really help with the lighting. It looks great, but that's artificial junk light. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So if I didn't have these glasses on, these blue light blocking glasses, they're not prescription. I'm not wearing them to see better, although you can do that too. I'm wearing them because if I was not wearing them, then my brain would have to filter out the junk light. And that's like having 100, 200 tabs open in your browser. Your computer is going to run slow. Same thing with your brain. Your brain's going to run slow. So when you put on blue light blocking glasses, it's like taking those 100, 200 tabs in your browser to 3 tabs. Now it's going to run smooth because it's filtering out the junk light, so my brain doesn't have to filter it out. Now, when I go outside, if I'm in my house, I'll take these off. But when I'm behind this computer screen with these lights on, especially during these interviews, I have them on. And then at night, I'll take these off. Actually, these are cool because I can actually put a clip on.
Yes.
I wanted to show it to you, but I don't have it here. But yeah, you just put the red one. It's called Viva Ray. So you just put the red ones on, and about an hour before bed, now I have the red light on, and it filters out the specific lights at night that you want to avoid.
All right. Do you do that as the sun sets?
I don't. That would be the best way. So the best way to do it would be yellow during the day, orange as the sunset, right after the sun sets, and then red an hour before you go to bed. I'm not as diligent with that, so I do yellow during the day, and then an hour before bed, the red ones go on.
Would you ever, when you woke up in the morning, put on your protective lenses and looked at your phone first thing?
Do I do that? No, I never look at my phone in the morning. It's not even in my bedroom.
How is that possible? How's that possible to be a human and not participate in this folly that we all do when we look at our phone to see if our kids need us?
Well, I don't have kids, so that's one thing. If I had kids, I probably would look at my phone.
You would. I promise you would.
Yeah.
They need me all the time.
Yeah. What you can do, there's different things that you can do. You could have certain settings on your phone where your kids are marked as favorites.
Yeah.
And then it's on Do Not Disturb and only they come through. But I personally have my phone in the kitchen when I'm sleeping. And then in the morning, I go through my whole routine for like an hour before I even look at my phone. But I don't have kids. Thank God there hasn't been any emergencies, anybody trying to find me. So there's different things you can do on your phone to change the settings, because when you look at your phone, to your point, Lisa, it's like playing Russian roulette.
I know.
You can see something really cool or something you have to take care of, and then all of a sudden you're scrambling for the rest of the day.
I know. I hate it. Do you turn off your Wi-Fi at night?
The only reason I don't is because our alarm system is connected to the Wi-Fi system. So what I do is that I have the router the farthest away from the bedroom at night. And so I have that, but and we're renting, so I can't really make too many changes here, but that would be the best thing to do, to have a kill switch on that router.
See the things we have to worry about? We didn't have to worry about even 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, we were just getting on Instagram and we thought it was a bunch of pictures. Yes. Now it's everybody's political platform, and then they suck you in. I mean, all of it. They just suck you in.
It's dopamine hit, doom scrolling. I've been there. I get it.
It is. It's just terrible. And I think about our kids. I can at least tell myself, my gosh, Lisa, get up. You've got to, I look at the clock and go, oh, you've got to do something. But kids don't have the regulatory ability. And that's why it's hard for parents. Okay, let's talk about now something that's very near and dear to your heart, my heart. But I've kind of tweaked some things because I'm up in age, and that is fasting. Tell me, of course, your story was it 100-pound total weight loss for you?
Almost 80 pounds. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's almost 100.
Yes.
That's a lot of weight. And you were very sick and sick by meaning sick, unhealthy.
Yes, I was. Yeah. I was very metabolically damaged, prediabetes, high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, obesity, physically, obesity, mentally. Wow. And I went through this transformation, which I spoke about last time we talked on your show. Amazing. That was 17 years ago. So I lost the weight, got healthy, been in the space ever since, 17 years. And along the way, I started to adopt fasting protocols. And I love fasting. Chapter 8 of my book is all about how to use what I call responsible fasting. It's a great tool when you use it the right way. Just like a chainsaw, I explain, is a very powerful tool that could get the job done if you've read the user manual.
Oh, that's good.
But it also could hurt you if you haven't read the user manual. So you got to read the user manual for fasting because it's also a powerful tool. It's different for women versus men. It's different for postmenopausal women versus cycling women. So it's when done right, it's nature's reset button. It's one of the best ways to harness the innate intelligence. So I'm a big fan of fasting done the right way.
God designed us to have periods of eating and not eating, digesting and not digesting. That's why the saber-toothed tiger wasn't around all the time. Yeah, absolutely. Every civilization, until again 100 years ago, really probably in the 50s or so, probably after World War II, we started going, we can put that in a box. That food, and you can have it all the time. And Dr. Fung talks about that's kind of the beginning of the end was when we started. He said in the mornings, people used to get up, have a cup of black coffee, probably a cigarette too. I mean, if you're really being honest, right? Dad had a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and he darted off to work. And then he came back from the factory at 5:00 and they sat down, had dinner, and there's maybe a TV, but you only had one show. And everybody turned it off when we were done for the day. It wasn't just the constant, hand to mouth, feeding and all the time. I have, not that anybody's asked, but I have tweak some things because I started hardcore in 2017, hard in the paint, as the kids say, with my intermittent fasting and loved it, flipped the switch, went to 18 and 6 very easily. And then I do 2-day fast. You and I talked about, we once both did a 5-day fast and how hard it was. Now, if I were to do it again, I've done 3-day fast. I load up on the front end with a little more fat. But I started noticing, because I am up in years and I'm menopausal, that my cortisol it petered out. I was asking my cortisol to do, I was telling my cortisol that we were in flight or fight that's a flight or fight response. Fasting is, because it's hormetic stress to your body, just as working out is. You couldn't work out all the time, and so I've had to tweak some things, and now I am getting up, seeing the sun, and I'm having something called breakfast in the morning.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I'm having something called lunch with a lot of meats. And then truly, even the girl that's my health coach, I'm a health coach, she's my health coach, she's even said, if you could throw in something called dinner and get some protein in, I said, I'm really done. Because I've eaten, I've done my 3 eggs in the morning and maybe a piece of brie cheese with that. And then at lunch, I had some tuna today at lunch, and I went to a place with girls and they eat something called salad. So I had to eat a salad. I don't eat salads. But all that to say, I want people to understand that just because you found the hand and glove that fits you right now for fasting, you might have to tweak it. Have you noticed that you've had to maybe make some adjustments? It may be different for men, but women really kind of have to.
Yeah, I know. It's a really important conversation. I'm glad you brought up the hormesis conversation. I talk about hormesis in the book because that's a really important lens to view these stressors like fasting, exercise, even all these biohacks, cold plunge, sauna. These are all stressors. It doesn't make them bad. Only if you're not adapting to them, then it becomes a bad thing. That's what hormesis is. Hormesis means you apply a stress, you adapt to the stress, you're healthier and stronger. But if it's too much to adapt to, now you're inflamed. Fasting falls right into that. Breakfast, several years ago, I used to say breakfast is the dumbest meal of the day. You should skip it. We're not designed to eat breakfast. I have a different attitude now. I think it's better to have breakfast and skip dinner. If there was going to be a meal you skip, then that would be the optimal way to do it. You have breakfast and lunch and skip dinner versus skipping breakfast and having dinner. Most people do that. So for me, it's shifted. I think just as important as the fasting is getting enough protein and the feasting. And as long as you're balancing that out and you have your feasting, your protein, and you're getting enough nutrition during your eating window, and then you're balancing out with the fast, that's fine. But we fall in love with fasting because we feel so good in a fasted state.
Yes.
You start to lose weight, but then a good thing becomes a bad thing because you do too much of it. So I think fasting is amazing. We just need to balance out the fasting with the feasting and make sure you get your protein requirement. And that's for both men and for both women.
Well, I also think it's the dopamine hit that comes because cortisol, the things that are involved in what the adrenals do. And as a woman goes through after menopause, her adrenal activity is different from when she's perimenopause. I mean, there are just a lot of biological changes that are going on. And to honor our body, to see that, I guess that's it. In the fasting world, we all said, because Dr. Fung even helped make fun of it. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We realized that Dr. Kellogg invented that and he happened to have a little cereal. But now we are breaking our fast. And then we would say, you and I would say, well, I don't have breakfast till 2. I would eat from 2 to about 6 o'clock. And because someone just asked, they go, how'd you know it was enough? I go, I just knew, like innate intelligence. I just knew that it was time to make a shift. And I'm hungry in the morning. See, I hadn't been hungry in years, which could be cortisol dysregulation. Mm-hmm. So I could have fallen into that. And there is a dopamine hit. You almost feel high once you get over the hump of being hungry in like a 3-day fast, you really do feel great on days 2 and 3. But I was noticing as my husband and I did it together. And of course, a man skips lunch and he's lost 19 pounds and a woman has to skip all of April to lose 2. And I was noticing, because we were doing them together, that he really was cutting his weight. He a bodybuilder years ago. I still a serious weightlifter. But he was just feeling great and the scale was moving. And he goes, what's going on with you? I go, well, don't look. And I'd say, nothing. I've done this. We did these 48-hour fast 8 weeks in a row and nothing. And I went, oh, my body's mad.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because I think, am I talking out of both sides of my mouth? Now I'm telling people to eat breakfast, but I'm also done and I can't get in any more protein. That's what's so crazy that and that's what you're discussing, the healing your hormones. People always think sex hormones, Ben, but we've got to talk about leptin and ghrelin and cholecystokinin and cortisol and vitamin D. I mean, there are these other things. So I know this is the longest question ever, but then in understanding this, do you think I'm on the right path by having to tweak some things? And bro science isn't for everybody, but also seeing that we really have to honor our hormones in the fast, and not just sex hormones, but all of them.
Yeah. Everything you just said is spot on, Lisa. Yes. There's a popularity with OMAD, right? 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
24-hour fast every single day, which is fine from time to time, but every day doing 1 meal a day, it's too much. You're not getting enough protein. It's too stressful in your body. And over time, the body will rebel. You mentioned leptin and ghrelin. You'll start to see some of the inverted relationship there. So ghrelin, of course, is the hunger hormone. Leptin is the satiety fat burning hormone. And you'll start to see some wonky levels of those hormones start to take place. Of course, the sex hormones will get impacted as well. So it's important to balance out the fasting with the feasting. That's unique for everybody. In general, most people don't want to eat too close to bed. I think we could all agree to that.
Good.
Give yourself at least 3 to 5 hours of fasting before bed. That's a good general rule of thumb to follow for both men and women of all ages. Now, outside of that, you want to find your groove. Now, some days it could be okay for you to skip breakfast and maybe have a meal at 12 and then 6 to do an 18-6 and by skipping breakfast. And then some days you can mix it up and have breakfast and lunch and skip dinner. The goal is to keep mixing it up, rotating it, and seeing how your body responds. One of the things that I would recommend testing, and I talk about this in the book to see if the fast is working for you or against you. There's two things I would recommend. Number one is tracking your heart rate variability, your HRV.
Explain that to me.
So heart rate variability is looking at not your heart rate, but your nervous system. It's looking at how healthy your nervous system is as it pertains to adapting to stressors in your life, including fasting.
Oh, okay.
So we have two branches to the nervous system. We have that fight or flight sympathetic branch, which you do activate during fasting, which is cortisol, adrenaline, go, go, go. And that's great in spurts, but not too much of it. And then you have the other side of that nervous system, which is the parasympathetic, rest, digest, detoxification. That's more relaxation. So that's also good in spurts, but you don't want to always be locked into parasympathetic. So HRV, you find your average, and you could use an Oura Ring, an Apple Watch, a Fitbit, a Whoop Band, whatever it is. You find, let's say you track it for 7 days. You find your unique average. It's different for everybody. And then you start to see when you fast, does your HRV lower, which is not a good thing, or does your HRV stay at average or increase? We want to see the HRV stay average or increase, which shows you're having a good balance of sympathetic, parasympathetic, fight or flight, relaxation. And you could use, let's say you did a 24-hour fast, and then you tracked your HRV, and you see after that 24-hour fast, it dropped below my average. That meant that fast was too much of a stress. Your body didn't adapt to it effectively. So that's one thing you could track. Now, the other thing you can do is during your fast, you could track blood glucose and blood ketones. And if you are, here's what you want to see. If you are adapting to the fast, you're going to see your glucose drop throughout the fast, and you're going to see your ketones rise. That's the trend you want to see. That means you are burning fat for fuel. You're not breaking down muscle. There's not a cortisol adrenal response. But if you see your ketones drop or they're non-existent and your glucose increasing during your fast, that signals you should break the fast and do less fasting, because your body's either breaking down muscle, which is pretty rare. It's probably creating a cortisol response and turning that into sugar via gluconeogenesis.
All right. Okay, I'm having to digest this, pardon the pun, but going through it all, have you ever then been in the middle of a 3-day fast or 2-day fast and thought, ooh, my ketones and glucose aren't responding, or my HRV isn't responding, I may have to put the brakes on it? Because that's a big decision to make. Because when you and I talked about our 5-day fast, we both had blood glucoses at about 52, we both said. Yeah. I remember, because I remember saying, I didn't feel great. So now I'm wondering, was it too stressful on me? And that was day 4 for me. I've read where day 5, you often have an uptick, but I didn't go past 5 days. So during those longer fasts, do you think it was too stressful on us?
Well, you saw your glucose drop. Your ketones went up as well?
Well, I wasn't measuring that. I just went on day 4 because it happened to be the day I was going to have my lab work done for my thyroid.
Got it. Yeah, so if we would have wanted to look at the ketones, so my glucose did drop to around 52, like you said. My ketones were like 5.5, and that was fine. I was adapting to it.
You're peeing on a strip for the ketones, right?
No, it was a finger prick.
Oh, okay. You like that better?
That's more accurate than the urine strips. Yeah. Okay. So I use Keto Mojo for that. It's a finger, and you could also get glucose from that too. So it could be the same blood. So for a long fast, HRV might drop, but I'm referring to more of day-to-day fasting.
Daily fasting,
yeah, because throwing in a 3-day fast, a 5-day fast, you might see a drop in HRV. That doesn't necessarily mean you should break it, because there's going to be some good healing going on there.
Right.
But for the day-to-day stuff, and you shouldn't be doing these longer fasts more than, I don't know, once a month, maybe once. I do it once a year, but definitely not more than once a month would be a good general rule to follow.
Except for cancer patients. I know they kind of...
Oh, yeah, that's different.
They kind of get into... Dr. Seafried, of course, talks about it, and some other people I follow, but that's a whole nother conversation.
For sure.
What do you think about cancer is the new COVID for 2025? It seems like everybody's got it. I'm telling you, people I follow go, oh, so-and-so, another stage 4, and I'm not saying this flippantly. I'm saying this because that could be me or you, it could be anybody, but we've all got to be looking around going, okay, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the current stats, cancer.org shares that 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, and for men, 1 in 2.
Wow. So one out of two for men. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, what about metabolically fit people? Are they ever in there? Are there studies on metabolically the 7% of people that have that are metabolically fit? Are they ever tested?
There's not in regards to cancer. There's not, but I will say cancer is a metabolic disease. So it makes sense that the more metabolically healthy you are, the less likelihood you are of getting a diagnosis with cancer. So it makes sense to me because cancer is not a genetic disease. It's maybe 1% maximum genetics, 99% environmental, which is great news because you have control, not your genes. Your genes are not your destiny.
Right.
I mean, cancer rates have just taken off at a dramatic rate that doesn't make sense that it's a genetic issue because our genes don't change that fast. Same thing with obesity. In the 1930s, the obesity rates was 1 to 2% in the US. Now, as you said, it's going to be 50%. Somebody tell that lady who came on 60 Minutes from the government saying that it's all genetics, that it is actually not, and tell Oprah that she's also wrong because it's not genetics. Obesity is not in your genes. Obesity is in your grocery cart. That's where it is. It's the food you eat. It's your lifestyle.
You know, the one thing, I'm sure you hear it too, when someone says, so-and-so got diagnosed with cancer and she was so healthy. That's the first thing everyone tells me.
I hear it all the time.
Tell me, they go, she worked out all the time. She had low fat. She didn't eat any meat. And I go, well, now I see why she got cancer.
They were healthy in the definition of mainstream health, but not actual health,
it's
as you know.
It's subjective. Yes, that's a subjective term. And then the other thing we're not talking about, and this is my thing for 2024 and 2025, is that beautiful fireball in the sky has so much to do with good health.
It's
the
source.
sun. Yes, the thing that your doctor tells you to stay away from is the thing we should be outside having class right now. Because in Arkansas, this time of year, it's perfect. I'm sure it's hot in Miami already, but it's nice. It's perfect here, and the sun's rays are healing. Everyone says I feel better with a tan. It's because you've been outside.
Yeah, no, the sun is absolutely healing. I spent an hour this morning out getting sun in my backyard, in my pool, and then I did some basketball outside in my driveway getting sunshine, and I feel amazing. The sun is such a free healing device or source, whatever you want to call it, right outside your window.
I know.
Yeah, you don't want to get burned. We're not saying to get burned. And by the way, the less seed oils you use, the less likelihood you are to get burned. As you eliminate seed oils, you get less burned. I feel amazing when I get sunshine. And I see so many people, maybe they'll go outside because they want to get some sun because they know they feel better, but they'll slather themselves on with these sunscreens and they'll wear these poison. And speaking of cancer, that's a source of cancer.
Oh, for sure.
And then they'll wear these thick sunglasses. My mom drives me crazy because she wears these sunglasses when she's walking outside. And I'm like, Mom, don't do it. Take off the sunglasses. You're losing a lot of the benefits. The sun needs to go through your eyes. Don't stare at the sun, but it needs to go through your eyes to get those benefits. So take off the sunglasses. Don't lather yourself with sunscreen. Use beef tallow. That prevents burning. Take a supplement called astaxanthin, which is like internal sunscreen. That prevents sunburning. And don't eat seed oils and don't take high-dose fish oil. That also leads to sunburning.
Oh, the high-dose fish oil. That's something else people have pushed on us for years.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of fish oil in general.
Okay.
But most people who do high dose, and yeah, it does more harm than good. And it also causes sunburning too.
Well, I've heard Dr. Cruz talk about even the whole cataracts and eye sensitivity. I no longer wear sunglasses because I've calloused my retina. Somebody in there is not sensitive anymore to the sun.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm out there every morning. And I did see where he said, or there's somebody else I follow, Dr. Alexis Cowan, who I really love. I've had her on my podcast. She's a PhD from Princeton and a Dr. Cruz protege. That morning sunlight helps. It helps tell the body to get ready to receive the sun, and also it strengthens your eyes. That's why. And I did red light therapy. I started with red light therapy, and then I did something called sunlight therapy, where I walk outside in the sun, and I no longer need. I've saved my family from me buying all those silly, expensive sunglasses because I don't need them.
That's awesome. Yeah, morning sunlight. Yeah, that's great.
It's
morning sun is the best. Even if it's just 10, 15 minutes. I walk my dog every morning and I get that morning sunlight. And then throughout the day, I'll go to my backyard and just sit out there, get the sun. And then if you could top that off with sunlight,
I love it.
Then you'll signal to release melatonin and get ready for a good night of sleep.
Isn't that crazy? Okay, I know we're running out of time, but I have one more question. Yeah. In the beginning with fasting, I worked out in the fasted state. Now I've switched my life. I'm lifting 4 days a week. I've cut out cardio. It's all about strength and all that. But now I've eaten some protein before I've gone, which is so a turnaround for what I used to do and what Dr. Fung used to say. Where are you in this camp? Not the keto camp, but in this camp, where are you?
You're asking where I'm at with eating before a workout? Mm-hmm. Yeah. 95% of my workouts are fasted still. I'm a man though.
I was going to say, I think that's different. A gender difference.
Yeah. I just feel better. But as soon as I'm done working out, I break the fast. I feast it up. I'll have like 80 grams of protein in that meal.
Wow.
But I will say this. I do have essential amino acids and creatine before the workout.
Okay.
Which helps preserve some muscle mass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just feel better fasted exercise versus eating. But it's different, and I'm not opposed to eating before a meal, especially if it's protein, which is what you do. So I think it's fine.
But I'm telling you, part of fasting is mindset anyway. And now that I've switched my mindset, I'm still kind of feeling guilty, like I've broken up with fast. I'm like, I still love you, fasting. I'm not eating past a certain time. I don't snack. I still love you, but I've had to tweak some things
good for you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and it just shows too, Ben, that what you're doing today may not work for you tomorrow.
Yeah,
you have to be emotionally flexible to say, you know what, I'm going to try something else. I may come back to this, and it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Be mentally flexible, emotionally flexible,
yes.
As well as
metabolically flexible.
Yes.
Okay. All the things. Metabolic Freedom, 30-day guide to restore your metabolism, heal hormones, burn fat. Available at a bookstore near you, online, and maybe in person. Ben Azadi, Keto Kamp, thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Lisa. Go get the free course and the interviews when you pre-order the book over at metabolicfreedombook.com. Thank you, Lisa. I'm very grateful for you.
Perfect. Thanks for listening to the Lisa Fischer Said podcast. Be sure to hit subscribe and download all the episodes and leave a review, won't you? The Lisa Fischer Said podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.